Mountain pose again. The length of the waist is so important. And as we're doing abdominal work, it's just so important to keep that long waist, strong legs. So feel that here in mountain pose. Inhale, raise your arms to the outside. Exhale, prayer hands. Inhale, raise your arms up. Open, 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 even here. And standing forward bend. Bend your legs, slide your chest forward. Right foot back to a lunge. Plank position. Knees, chest, and chin. And while you're doing cobra here, feel like the belly slightly pulls back towards the spine. And downward dog.
Really feel like with everything that you're coming from your core, you're coming from your center.
Right foot forward. And left foot forward, standing forward bend. Inhale and come up. And mountain pose. Now if you're doing this early in the morning, inhale, raise your arms, prayer hands. Don't force anything. Inhale and raise up. Just feel like the body's naturally opening up. Standing forward bend. Bend the legs, slide the chest forward, left foot back. Full plank position. If you can, push up, and you don't have to go so low. If you can, you can. Inhale, up dog. Even here, the belly supports the spine.
Absolutely.
And up into the chest.
And then
downward.
when you pull into downward facing dog, you're really pulling with your
That's right.
center, with the core.
The abdomen helps you draw you back from the strength of the legs. Oh, length of the waist. The belly moving towards the spine and up towards the chest. And left foot forward. Right foot forward. Standing forward. Inhale and come up. And release. Good. One more, just part salutation. Inhale, raise up. And hands. Inhale and up. Standing forward, bend. Bend the legs, left foot back. Let's go straight to down dog here. Good. Knees to the ground. Cross your ankles. Come into cobbler's pose. And then from cobbler's pose, staff position. Back to cobblers. Back to wide angle. Back to cobblers. And a little bit of a boat pose. So you can have your feet on the ground here, or you can have your shins lifted. Beautiful. Using the abdominal muscles here. And back to cobblers. And back to staff. Good. Draw the knees into the chest, feet off the ground, and cross. Do you feel this in the abs?
Oh, yes.
Draw the knees a little closer. As you do that, try not to tense the face. Your breath will get shorter, but try to relax the eyes, squeeze in.
Really make an effort for those knees to draw into your body.
That's harder work.
Mm-hmm.
And cobbler's pose. And back to staff pose. And cobblers. And wide angle. And cobblers. And if you can, full half boat pose. Belly to spine here. You can see Mariel's doing it a little higher here, working different parts of the abs. If you need to, you can bend your legs. Good. And back to cobblers.
I have to claim that I think my legs are just heavy.
And staff pose. There you go. Good. And one more time, drawing the knees into your chest. And let's draw the knees a little closer if possible. This will get you going in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And back to cobblers. And staff. And then just pull through and roll to all fours again. Downward facing dog. Again, bending the legs here to get that length of the waist is fine.
Yeah, and really feel the belly letting go from all that work.
But still get the length of the waist, and then if you can maintain the length of the waist, then get the full extension of the legs so you get the opening of the legs. And left foot forward. And standing forward bend. And up. Time for those arm swings. Spread the legs. And down. And down. A little quicker. Open that chest. And stabilize from the abdomen. Again, stabilize from that core. But an important part of the core is also the legs, connecting the legs to the core.
Absolutely. Well, if your stomach's not strong, your legs aren't going to be as strong and able to support the stomach, and vice versa.
Let's do some jumps. Reach the arms up. And down, 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 down.
We're just getting you going.
This is the replacement for your morning cup of coffee.
Exactly. And the hops are really light. Loosen the spine, loose arms, going through the feet.
You know, you take your shoes off at work and just do, a minute of these.
Totally wake you up. Energize you.
And stand in mountain. Inhale, raise your arms out to the side. Exhale, namaste. Inhale, reach your arms up. Lengthen again, a little back bend. Come on, strong legs. And standing forward bend. Use the abdominal muscles to hollow and draw you down. Bend the legs, slide your chest forward. Left foot back to a lunge. Either plank position or knees, chest, and chin. Or a little baby push-up. Inhale, up dog. And downward dog. And come to all fours. Cross your shins. And lie back on your back. Take your arms out to the side. You can hold on to your friend if you need to. Bend your legs, bring them into your chest, and drop them over to the right.
Look over to your left.
And come back to center. Drop them over to the left. Look over to the right, come back to center. Put your hands behind your head and do a sit-up, bringing your armpits to the knees, knees to the armpits.
And hollowing that belly.
Mine doesn't want to hollow. And release back down.
Well, intention is everything.
Take the arms out to the side and knees to the right.
And let them hover over the ground if you can. But if it's too hard, let them
That's
just
right.
fall
You
to
can
the
rest the
ground.
feet. You can rest the legs to the ground.
Or even put
opening
them
the
on a
chest.
block.
And come back. Or the other option, go to the other side, is just not to drop them very far.
Right.
So you begin to feel the engagement of the oblique abdominals, but not so much that it just hardens everything and you're holding on for dear
Absolutely.
life.
Doing more is not always better.
Come back up, hands behind the head. Armpits to knees, knees to armpits. I find 10, 15 minutes a day can really be, make all the difference.
Oh, it's so transformative, really.
Good, and release. Hold on, crush your right or left shin over top, hold the feet and rock.
And really roll through the spine. Try to feel each vertebrae as you're rolling.
Put
or
the other shin
rocking.
on top. Yeah, I'm using my abdominal muscles to flush my spine into a rocker position, so it's really like a wheel. And rock up to sitting.
Really massages the spine, too.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Now, sometimes people have a spine that sort of is a little bit gnarly on the ground, so if you pat it, if you need to pat it with a blanket or something like that, that's
Or
fine.
even 2 mats or something.
That's a good idea. And right foot forward between the hands. Left foot forward, standing forward, bend. Again, if you need to bend the legs here, if you need to put your hands on blocks, inhale and swoop up. Spread the legs, let's swing those arms again. And let's do 10 of these and then 10 of the arms to the side.
Okay.
Because even these little simple movements that we don't think do much are actually quite powerful.
Well, if you have a focus on what you're doing and the area you're focusing on, it makes all the difference. Even doing less will
And let's
have
go
a
to the
better
side.
benefit.
These great Tai Chi masters, they do simple movements like this, and they just immolate water until these movements become so strong. And they literally they feel like they can move huge football players with the flick of a finger, just because the water of the body is moving just completely unrestricted. So this is like a pump.
Well, all the martial arts, the power comes from these subtle movements, right?
Even in yoga, it's really the subtle movements.
Yep.
Good, and 3 more. 1, 2, 3, back to center. And let's do the jumps. Down, down, down.
Engage those thighs as you land.
Ah.
Smile as you jump.
So can you be rooted without feeling heavy?
Exactly.
Now, sometimes if this is too much for your knees, you just feel like you bend the legs like this a little bit. You keep jumping because I'm just going to take a little ease here. But you just feel like this is enough, just bending and straightening the leg a little bit. And then maybe not even coming off the ground. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mountain pose. Inhale, raise your arms over your head. And standing forward bend. Good, bend the legs, slide the chest forward. Right foot back. Plank position or Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog or cobra and downward dog. And just bend your knees to the ground. Cross the shins, come through, cobbler's pose. A little bit of a back bend. Just a little bit of a back bend.
Yeah, it releases that belly, those abs.
Yeah, and it allows the spine also to go into its natural back bend and the lower back into the chest. There's very few times we get this much of opening of the chest.
Yeah.
And the belly supports this lift and opening. Good, and relax. Bring the knees together. Lie down on your backs. Now we're going to reverse the rounding that we've gotten from the abdominal work, and you're just going to have the legs open. Tuck the shoulder blades under so that the lower back is slightly arched.
Which is the natural way your back wants to go. It wants to have a bit of a S curve in it.
That's right. So there's a slight lift of the lower back from the ground, and the upper back is dropping into the ground, and the neck is off the ground.
If you need it, you can put blocks there or even a couple of blankets to support, because, it's very difficult for some people to get their knees totally resting on the ground, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you don't even have to worry about that really. It's just about getting this whole rest of the inner legs and the belly. Support is always good. A couple more breaths here. Good, bring the knees together and extend the legs to final relaxation.
To pose.
To the ah pose. That's what this should be called.
And yet you're totally aware in this pose. You're not falling asleep. You're conscious of your body. You're observing how it feels inside after what you've just done.
Especially feel the relaxation around the lower back and feel the release of the belly so the belly rises and falls easily with the breath. And you want that suppleness. Really, your whole midsection, it doesn't want to be rock hard all the time. It wants to be able to go completely soft like a cat's belly, and then completely elongated and stretched out, and then also completely active if need be.
I think we have a hard time sometimes letting go in the belly, especially women. I don't know. I don't know about you, but it's difficult to let that holding go.
Ironically enough, when you create that tension in the belly, there's no strength. And then the lower back muscles have to work too much. The strength actually comes in the suppleness. Again, like Muhammad Ali said, the water is the most powerful element. Great, bend the legs, roll over to your right side, and sit on up. These are these little short versions of our practice, just because, we have to be practical. A lot of people don't have time.
Oftentimes I have early morning calls, and all I have time for is 10, 15 minutes. And it's better to do that 10, 15 minutes than doing nothing at all, because you will see a change. I felt it.
And that's why we're breaking down to the parts of the body, the abs, the upper body, the lower body, so that we can, have these 10, 15 minutes that we can specialize in the body and go a little deeper and yet have a complete practice.
Yeah.
Hands to prayer. This is again just to turn you inwards to your center. As you touch your center and you keep touching deeper and deeper into your center, let that be the start of your day. Namaste.
Namaste.